Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's everything you need to know as you jumpstart your day. I'm Pauline Verzosa. The Pampanga local government has ordered for the wider inspection of Clark Freeport to combat illegal POGO operations. This is after the Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Commission, or PAO, raided 5 villas in a resort in Mabalacat, Pampanga last week. PAO said some people who escaped from the Porac raid were hiding in the resort. In an exclusive interview with News 5, Pampanga Vice Governor Lilia Pineda said the Clark Development Corporation has already started their raid.
Sinabihan ko na siya kagad, linisin mo tingnan mo rin yung Clark, baka may natitira pa. Baka may natitira pang may pogo dyan. Naulian ka na ng malaki, sapat, wala na sanang pangalawa pa.
Pineda expressed her disappointment on the alarming presence of POGOs in her province. She said the local government is already forming an ordinance that will screen foreign investors.
Magkakaroon kami ng oversight na bago tanggapin ng isang locator, ng isang investor, kailangan kami nag-screen kami. Pati yung sino nakapangalan sa korporasyon, ano yung line of business ng kausap ni Mayor.
Senators have pushed the chairman of the Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corporation, or POGO, to reveal the former cabinet member who allegedly lobbied for granting licenses to illegal POGOs. Senate President Cheese Escudero said if PAGCOR will not name them, the Senate should unmask the official. Senate Minority Leader Coco Pimentel shares the same sentiment. He said the revelation will also give an opportunity to the former cabinet official to defend themselves. Meanwhile, Senator Joel Villanueva said PAGCOR's revelation is enough proof to ban POGOs in the country. U.S. President Joe Biden's performance against former President Donald Trump in the first 2024 presidential debate has led some Democrats to call for a new nominee. Here's the report.
Primaries have been held. Delegates committed. President Joe Biden is the presumptive nominee for the Democratic Party. Short of a true health crisis, about the only way he loses that slot is if he agrees to step aside. His stumbling debate performance against former President Donald Trump, however, has fueled calls for him to do just that.
On the total initiative relative to what we can do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either.
But even then, the process of replacing him would be full of uncertainty. Democrats could work it out at their convention in August, the way political parties used to. Various names would be put forward, and most likely the more than 3,900 delegates from across the country would discuss, debate, and eventually decide on a new candidate. Almost all of them right now are currently pledged to Biden and approved by his campaign. But if they can't agree, if it gets really nasty and grinds on, well, then maybe the additional 700 superdelegates, deep-seated party insiders and elected officials, could be key to settling the matter. They normally can't vote on the first ballot for president if it would change the nomination, but they can vote on subsequent ballots. But that scenario raises questions, too. Would voters who took part in primaries feel pushed aside and alienated from the party if a new nominee was chosen? Would a new choice be able to mount an effective campaign in the roughly 10 weeks from the end of the convention until Election Day? And who would be the choice? There are several big names that could likely be considered, but not until the party decides how it feels about Vice President Kamala Harris. Plenty of Democratic voters and party leaders would see her as the natural heir to the nomination, and if she is not chosen, her disappointed supporters could also become a deep problem for the party in November. For now, Biden's advisors and other top Democrats are pushing back on the whole idea of him dropping out, and according to his team, the president is still looking forward to a rematch with Trump at the next debate in September.
Political analyst Don McClain-Gill weighs in on the recent U.S. presidential debate. On the big story, Gill said Joe Biden's performance was concerning. He explained that the substance of the president's statements were outweighed by his poor delivery. While Donald Trump's optics were better, Gill said the former president was constantly dodging. He added that Trump took every opportunity to demean Biden to his advantage.
At the end of the day, optics matter a lot, especially in these forms of engagement. But of course, the main point here was that most of the discussions were really rerouted into the competition between both candidates at the individual level, and thus a lack of substance in actually addressing pressing issues such as in foreign policy, for example, were overlooked.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Pauline Verzosa. Let's now take a quick look at today's other headlines. Vice President Sara Duterte disagrees with claims that she is now the leader of the opposition. The Philippine Star quoted Duterte as saying that she does not act for the benefit of the administration nor the opposition. This comes after her resignation as Education Secretary. And a Business World poll yields a median estimate of 3.9% for the Consumer Price Index in June. This is within the forecast of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas for the month. If realized, it will be slower than the 5.4% print in the same month a year ago. Filipino Olympic gymnast Carlos Yulo has arrived in France to prepare for the 2024 Paris Olympics. The Golden Boy joined Team Philippines in their training camp in Metz, France. Aside from Yulo, swimmers Jared Hatch and Kayla Sanchez have started their intense training in Metz. 20 Olympic-bound Filipino athletes are staying in the French city for a month ahead of their campaign in the Paris Games. Get a sneak peek of the beauty of Metz, France as our Olympic boxers Nesty Petesio and Hergy Bacyadan explore iconic landmarks during their training for the Paris Olympics. Denise Tan has the story.
Today, we're taking you around the beautiful city of Metz and give you a glimpse of its historic sites and what our Olympians can see here during their one-month training camp.
With a 3,000-year history, Metz features noteworthy buildings such as the Metz Cathedral, with its largest expanse of stained glass windows in the world. There's also the Basilica of Saint-Pierre Onona, one of the oldest churches in Europe, and Gare de Metz, voted thrice as the most beautiful train station in France. But aside from the incredible structures, our athletes are also enjoying the calming scenery.
Ang sarap na mag-jogging na ganun kaaliwalas yung paligid ko talaga. Hindi siya same na sobrang crowded din talaga.
Para sa akin, bilang isang atleta na mag-train dito, 10 out of 10 talaga, sobrang ganda, sobrang relaxing ng area, and peaceful at the same time.
With their minds at peace and their bodies in rhythm, it's clear that their time here in Metz has helped them find their balance. From Metz, France, Denise Tan.
And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later at 9 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. I'm Pauline Verzosa. We are One News.